Okay, you know what's just wild to me? When people think copywriting is just writing words. After being the creative director of a multi-million-dollar company for years, then a freelance copywriter for over 10 years after that, then starting and growing my own 7-figure business after that, and teaching thousands of students around the world the skills they need to ignite their copywriting careers from scratch, I can tell you that saying copywriting is just writing words is like saying a surgeon just cuts people open. Copywriting is not just writing. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact blueprint I would follow if I had to start over as a copywriter in 2026. And I am talking about the real path, not some get rich quick nonsense where I tell you that you can make $10,000 in your first month, but how to learn the skills that set the foundation for a long and successful career. Because I am telling you, once you know how to communicate with more confidence, share persuasive stories, and write copy that inspires people to take action, you will be able to powerfully pivot in any career, sell any service, start any business, and forever future-proof your income. And that is the true definition of freedom. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Alex, and over the past 15 years, I went from brand new copywriter with 0 clients, $0, and 0 clue what to do to making over $300,000 a year as a freelance copywriter before building my own 7-figure brand and business, the Copy Posse. So I have been doing this for a long time. I have written for many different types of clients and offers, and I've helped my students build successful businesses of their own. So I know a little thing or two about what it takes to be successful in the world of copywriting. So let's not waste any more time and dive right into my blueprint, starting with level 1, learn copywriting fundamentals. Okay, so first, let's get really clear on what we're actually talking about. As I mentioned earlier, copywriting is not just writing words. A real copywriter is a strategic marketer who understands how to write hooks that grab attention, tell stories that evoke emotion, design funnels that build trust, and craft messaging that inspires action. Now, in this video, I don't have time to go into all of the many highly paid skills a copywriter possesses, but you can check out this video next if you want to go deeper. I will link to it right after this video. So assuming you already know what a copywriter does, here is the realistic blueprint to starting a successful career right now. So there are 2 paths you can take. Path number 1, employee. So of course, one path is that you can get a job or get hired as an in-house copywriter at a company. According to Built-in, the salary range for a copywriter extends up to about $230,000 in the US, with the average sitting around $73,000 a year. And being hired in-house also means added benefits, bonuses, and the security of a more consistent paycheck. Now, I have many students who have shifted into a copywriting role at a company as a stepping stone before going all in on path number 2, freelancer. Now, this is when you get to be your own boss. You usually work with multiple clients and you set your own rates, schedule, and office. Yes, you can work wherever and whenever you want. Now, this is the path that I took when I was just getting started, and it's the one that I'm going to focus on today, because not only is the freelance industry currently booming, but when you're a freelancer, you truly have unlimited income potential because you are no longer trading time for money, you're trading ideas, strategy, and availability for money, and your income can really compound in ways that hourly work never can. Now, before we get into the tactical step-by-step blueprint and my 120-day plan for you, we first need to talk about mindset, because I am a big believer that the correct mindset is so important before you start any new side hustle, business, or career. Building a copywriting business or career from scratch is not a sprint, you guys. It is a marathon. Now, a lot of new copywriters treat this skill as the easy button to more money and freedom, and honestly, that is exactly why they fail. They want clients like yesterday. They want $5,000 months immediately, and they want to quit their job today. And while I'm not saying that can't happen. I am saying that is the exception, not the rule. Changing your whole ass life, you guys, takes time, it takes energy, and it takes dedication, obviously. The good news is the copywriter path is so much faster than most other careers because you don't need any fancy degrees and you can learn the skills like relatively quickly. But the most successful students in my community obsessed, and I mean obsessed, over learning the craft first. They focused on building a solid foundation, they learned the fundamentals, and they developed the systems they needed so that they could confidently find clients and start making money. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, Alex, awesome, this all sounds great, but how do I actually learn these copywriting fundamentals? Where do I start? Well, my friend, good news for you, my YouTube channel is a great place to start. I literally have hundreds of free tutorials right here to help you master copywriting, marketing, and branding fundamentals. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button below and ring that bell to be notified when my next video goes live. You don't want to miss a single one. But if you want the fast track and expert guidance through this entire process, then I invite you to check out my 8-week copywriting program, the Copy Posse Launchpad. It is designed specifically for people who want to build a real long-term and sustainable copywriting business from scratch. During those 8 weeks, you'll master the psychology, frameworks, and business tools that I talk about in this video. But more importantly, you will end the program with the most important asset you need to start landing clients, a portfolio. Which brings me to level number 2, build your portfolio. Now, a portfolio is a collection of your best copywriting work. It showcases your skills and experiences to potential clients or employers. Now, here is the thing, without a portfolio, you will have a very, very hard time of finding clients who are willing to hire you. And in many cases, your application won't even be looked at. I'm not talking about cover letters or resumes. I am talking about a portfolio because brands and businesses want to know that you're a serious candidate with experience, not some rando who is just aimlessly applying for copywriting jobs on the internet. A portfolio is essential if you are serious about becoming a copywriter. And to quote Nikki Lorenzo, creative director and copywriter at Ogilvy, one of the biggest ad agencies in the entire world, she says, you have to have one. It's not even a question. If you don't have a portfolio, what are you even doing? But I have to add something. That statement should come with like a big old fat disclaimer because not all portfolios are made equal. Many copywriters make the mistake of putting together a hodgepodge of different stuff that they've written in order to show off their broad range of experience, right? Maybe it's literally a ton of different things, blog posts, white papers, articles, landing pages, ads from different brands and businesses, like all over the place. Or even worse, they cram absolutely everything they've ever written under the sun into their portfolio because the more the better, right? Wrong. A bad portfolio is the number one reason why most new copywriters fail. Your portfolio is not about proving how much you can write. You don't win the copywriter award for writing more stuff, right? Your dream clients want to see that you understand how to craft a cohesive marketing campaign and a sales funnel with a few strategic assets. They want to see that you're using storytelling and open loops and attention-grabbing hooks and persuasive messaging. And I hate to tell you this, but they're busy. They will not spend more than 10 minutes looking at your portfolio. So you want to make a really great first impression with only the best assets to showcase your skills. And that's what makes the Launchpad stand out from any other copywriting course on the entire internet. Because I don't only teach you how to write in-demand copy assets like emails, ads, landing pages, and sales pages, but I'll show you how all of these assets work together in a cohesive and strategic marketing funnel. Then I will help you display and structure your work in a professional and impressive portfolio that will wow future clients. And I will help you with pricing your services too. In the Launchpad, you will get a full price list so you know what to quote your new clients. Now, I will drop a link in the description below if you want to check out more, or you can scan this QR code. But for now, let's keep going with the blueprint. Moving on to level 3, get your first client. All right, so now let's get tactical. How do you actually land your first paying client. Listen, you guys, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's easy or once you have a portfolio, clients will just rain from the sky, but I will say it's a lot more simple than most people will have you believe. One customer, one service, one channel. I want you to remember that. This is the simplest formula for getting your first client and keeping them coming. One customer, pick one specific type of client, not just like small businesses. That's too broad. Think specific, like e-commerce supplement brands doing $500,000 to $2 million annually. One service, pick one thing you do for them, not all their copywriting needs. That's too vague. Think email sequences that turn subscribers into customers. And one channel. So pick one channel that you can do really well, like LinkedIn marketing. Most people don't follow this formula because they are terrified of limiting themselves. They think that if they're not everywhere, they won't find clients. But honestly, often the opposite is true. I'm talking about narrowing your options and methods down to actually free up your time will help you find clients faster. Because when you know exactly who you serve and exactly how you help them and exactly where you're going to find them, your strategy becomes so much clearer. And it is really important to have clarity in this process. All right, the next step here is to craft your value statement. This is like crafting an offer statement. And here's where a lot of new copywriters mess up. They think their value statement is something like, I'll write your emails for $500, but that is not a value exchange. That is a transaction. A value statement actually ties your service to a business result. So here's a framework that I like to use. I help specific client achieve specific result through your method so they can bigger benefit. So here's an example. I help e-commerce supplement brands increase email revenue through strategic welcome sequences so they can reduce their dependency on paid ads. So you see the difference, right? You are not selling words, you are selling results. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that you wouldn't work with other types of clients or businesses as a newbie. I highly recommend that if you are brand new, take on any freaking work that comes your way. As I like to say, first get paid and then get picky. But having a clear value statement really gives you a direction to point your sales in. Now, here is the key. You need to make it low risk for your client to say yes. You want them to go, oh yeah, I want that. And here's some ways to do this. You can offer a small test project first. You could provide a performance guarantee. You can show case studies from other clients, or you can give them a detailed proposal or strategy before they pay to really show them that you get what you're doing. Your only job at this level is to find a client, any client, then 2, then 3. Yes, it takes grit and repetition and action, but if you stay at it, you will get there. Remember, it takes 80% of a rocket's fuel to enter orbit. And once it's in orbit, it uses almost no fuel. That is you. If you give up too soon here, you will not make it out, right? You will not make it into orbit. Finding your first client takes effort, but it is a lot easier, let me tell you, when you have a launch pad. All right, moving on to the next level. Level 4, get better clients. So once you've landed your first few clients and you've created a consistent pipeline of projects, now what? It is time to get better clients and move up the pricing ladder. So a lot of copywriters get stuck working for peanuts and then they burn out completely and then they claim that copywriting is unsustainable and you can't actually make a living doing it. But that's because they think they need to keep finding more like $500 clients in order to level up. Nope. Once you work with multiple clients for one-off projects, you start to realize something really interesting. It takes the same amount of work and effort to close a $500 client as a $5,000 client. I'm talking about the same time spent on invoicing, onboarding, meetings. Take it from legendary marketer Seth Godin. When I asked him clearly, what advice would you give to copywriters who are looking to get ahead? This is exactly what he told me. The only way to move up is not by working more hours, but by getting better clients. The best clients are not just looking for a copywriter, they are looking for a thought partner. These clients want more than just words. They need your wisdom, your ideas, your availability. This is how you climb the pricing ladder, my friends. And this is why good copywriters are able to charge what they charge. When you understand this, you'll realize that your opportunities to support a business go through the roof. They are never ending. Sure, a client might already have a sales page, big deal. But that doesn't mean that they don't need copywriting help. Think outside the box and offer assets and services that most businesses and copywriters tend to completely forget about. So here's what a typical pricing ladder might look like for you as a copywriter. Rung 1, $500 to $1,000, right? That's one-off projects and basic copy deliverables. Rung 2, maybe $1,500 to $3,000. Here you're really getting involved with more strategic projects and research. Rung number 3, $3,000 to maybe $7,500. You're offering complete campaigns and strategy. And lastly, rung number 4, $5,000 to $15,000. These are ongoing retainers with performance bonuses. This is where you're really running the marketing strategy across multiple different mediums and channels for a company. The secret here isn't raising your prices, it's increasing the value you provide at each level. So at the $500 level, yeah, sure, you're writing copy. At the $1,500 level, you're providing strategy too. At the $3,000 level, you're delivering complete campaigns and guidance. And at $5,000 up, you're really becoming a strategic partner. Now, here is where things get really, really interesting. Once you're consistently landing higher level clients, you start facing different challenges. You're no longer worried about finding clients anymore. You're worried about delivering quality results at scale. And this is exactly why I created Spark, my membership for freelancers and service-based business owners, because the skills that get you to say $3,000 a month are very different from the skills that get you to $5,000 a month and $10,000 a month and above. Inside my membership, we focus on the strategies to fast track your success, things like building systems, creating scalable processes, and positioning yourself as a strategic partner rather than just a copywriter or freelancer. All right, that brings us to level 5, build simple systems. So here's what nobody tells you about scaling. It is not about working more hours, thank God, right? At some point, you will hit a ceiling, and that ceiling isn't your skill set, it isn't your prices, it is your time. And that's when you need systems. So here are a few systems that absolutely changed everything for me when I was a freelancer. Client onboarding. Every new client goes through the exact same process. No more reinventing the wheel. Research. I have templates and checklists for understanding any area of business quickly. Writing systems. These are frameworks and formulas that speed up my writing without sacrificing quality. And feedback. These are structured ways to get input and revisions from my clients that don't turn into endless back and forth. Again, this is the kind of stuff we talk about all the time inside my membership. I will drop a link for you to check out Spark in the description box below if you're interested in learning more. All right, once you get your systems down pat and you start bringing in more consistent income, you can kind of breathe a little, right? Now it's time to focus on the most important level of becoming a highly paid copywriter, and that is level 6, master the craft. Okay, so we kind of talked about the business side, right? Now let's talk about what separates good copywriters from great copywriters. Psychology over tactics. So a lot of copywriters focus on tactics. And in the beginning, that makes sense, right? What's the best subject line? Should I use urgency or scarcity, or what's the difference? How long should my emails be? How many emails should I send? But great copywriters focus on psychology. They understand why people buy, not just how to get them to buy. Now, here are a few of the psychological principles that you might have heard of that I rely on all the freaking time. Loss aversion. Pain is more motivating than pleasure. People will act more quickly to avoid immediate pain than to gain immediate pleasure. Social proof. When people around us use or purchase a product, it serves as a powerful psychological trigger. That's why copy that really focuses on highlighting testimonials and real-life user-submitted proof can do wonders. Authority. This is when experts with credentials like a PhD, right? Or celebrities with cultural and social capital automatically garner more authority and legitimacy. Their words simply hold more weight because they're more credible. Reciprocity. People feel obligated to return favors, right? Be it a complimentary 30-minute coaching call or a free trial, these things work for a reason. And commitment. People want to be consistent with their previous statements and actions, and they are more likely to follow through once a commitment is made. And I actually teach 23 23 psychological triggers in the Launchpad. And when you understand these principles, you can apply them to literally any copy written in any industry. Now, here's something else that's rarely talked about. Let me share the mistakes that can absolutely destroy your copywriting career. Mistake number 1, over-promising and under-delivering. You guys, never, ever promise results you cannot control. You can't say, I'm gonna triple your income guaranteed, right? Because you absolutely can't. That is not up to you. Promise great copy and strategic thinking. Never promise specific revenue numbers. Mistake number 2, not understanding your client. You cannot write effective copy if you don't take the time to understand the business you're writing for, right? Copywriting cannot be lazy, especially right now with AI, right? That's the definition of lazy copy. You have to take the time to do the research if you want to produce great results. Mistake number 3, not thinking like a strategic partner. Do not just blindly write whatever your client asks you to write. And I know that's so counterintuitive because they hired you to do exactly that. But really understanding what they actually need and recommending the best approach is what really separates a copywriter who's just a task closer to a copywriter who's really thinking critically and helping their client think ahead and solve future problems. That is what makes you a strategic thought partner. And mistake number 4, not staying current with marketing trends. So you guys know, you're here, right? Marketing changes fast. What worked 2 years ago might not work today. And that's why it's really, really important to keep a pulse on the industry and what's working now. Once you master your craft and reach a level of business where you are maxed out on clients and time, so you're really like, what do I do now, right? This is where you move to level 7, building your business. This is where you start thinking just beyond offering services, beyond what you can actually produce in, say, 24 hours a day or like 8 hours a day. Maybe you start thinking about supporting clients at a much higher level as a marketing director, a consultant, or a strategist. I have many students who have gone on to build wildly successful 6 and multi-6-figure businesses as fractional CMOs. And you can absolutely do that as a one-person team. But if you want to scale, say, beyond $25,000 a month, you likely need to hire a team. But here's the mistake that a lot of copywriters make. They try to hire another copywriter right away. They think, this is the service I provide, I need another copywriter. But that's backwards in my opinion. The first hire should be someone who handles everything that isn't copywriting, so you can stay focused on your craft and doing what you do best. So back when I was a freelance copywriter, my very first hire was actually a virtual assistant who handled all client communication, project management, research and gathering data, and of course, scheduling calls and other administrative work. Do not underestimate how much time this will actually free up for you to start focusing on the more high-value tasks like strategy and writing copy and planning campaigns. And then yes, if you want to grow even further after that, that's when you really start thinking about hiring additional copywriters to replace you. And this is when you start thinking more like an agency and less like a freelancer. Now, I have many copywriting students who now run agencies that do $50,000 to $100,000 per month. And if this is your goal, just make sure you have the systems in place to train your team and put processes in place to ensure the quality of your copywriting stays the same for your clients. And this is how you can scale past multiple 6 figures to even 7 figures, because instead of selling your time, you're selling your systems and you're selling your team's expertise. Now, at this level, you're probably not writing any copy anymore yourself. You are managing people and you're managing systems. Now, this is not the path for everyone. Not everyone wants to run a team, have payroll, and do all that, right? And there is nothing wrong with your business just being you. You can build a very lucrative career if you stick to the plan that I mapped out in this video. As I said, I was making $300,000 a year as a solo copywriter and marketing consultant before I started my business now. And believe me when I say I often miss those days when it was just me and a laptop traveling the world. Just remember that growth takes time. You have to master the fundamentals first. You absolutely cannot skip those steps. So let's zoom out really quick to make this really practical for you. Here is exactly what I would do in my first 120 days as a copywriter if I was starting from scratch. Day 1 to 60, This is all about foundations. I would learn copywriting and marketing fundamentals as quickly as possible, write something every single day, create a portfolio, and craft my value statement. Days 61 to 90, I would be focused on outreach, getting that first client. So I would really create a consistent outreach or application habit to put myself out there. I would work on landing my first few clients. I would hone my skills, deliver exceptional work, and ask for testimonials. Days 90 to 120, I would optimize. I would analyze what's working and what's not when it comes to my outreach. I would craft scalable systems and offers. I would start crafting client case studies. I would start building my website, updating my portfolio, and leveling up my clientele. I'm gonna be 100% real with you about what to expect. In those first 2 months, where you're learning, you're probably not gonna make a single red cent. This is when you're growing your skills and you're focusing on learning and you are building your portfolio. In month 3, you might land your first client, maybe a $500 project, $1,000 maybe. In month 4, if you're consistent with outreach, you could be around $2,000 to $3,000. And maybe by month 6, right, with good systems and client retention, $5,000 is realistic. I have many students who have made this happen in their first 6 months, but they worked hard for it, right? And then by the end of your first year, $10,000 is entirely possible if you follow this blueprint and you do not give up. But let me be very clear here. These numbers change up or down depending on how serious you treat this, how consistent you are. The more you treat this like a business and not an easy way to make money, the more successful you will be, just like in absolutely anything you do in life. Now, remember what I said about building foundations, right? This applies to your entire career. The copywriters who make $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, $50,000 per month didn't get there by chasing quick wins or looking for, a get-rich-quick scheme or shortcut. They got there by becoming genuinely excellent at their craft, building long-term relationships with clients, developing systems that scale, and most importantly, staying curious and always learning. I'm not here to try to convince anyone to get into copywriting who is just trying to make easy money online. But if you want to change your whole ass life, if you want more freedom to do what you want to do, if you want to work from wherever or whenever you want, copywriting is the most valuable skill sets that you can develop in 2026 because every single business on the planet needs copywriting, marketing, and storytelling, especially right now. So if you are willing to put in the work, if you're willing to focus, to learn, to build systems, and to think long-term like the badass business owner you are, copywriting can give you the freedom and income that most people only dream about. Whew. So there you have it, you guys. That is exactly what I would do if I had to start over as a copywriter in 2026. The full meal deal. Now, if you are just getting started and want to learn the fundamentals, my 8-week copywriting program is perfect for you. I will take you from a complete beginner to landing your first client. But if you're already making $3,000 to $5,000 a month and you're ready to scale to $10,000 a month or more, my Spark membership is where you need to be. That's where we focus on more advanced strategies, systems, and mindset shifts that separate 6-figure copywriters from everybody else. And honestly, my most successful students do both. They start by mastering the fundamentals to really build their foundation and build their portfolio. Then when they're ready to scale, they join the membership. Now, I will put links to both my Launchpad program and my Spark membership below. If you found this at all helpful, please give me a thumbs up below. And if you want to dive deeper into any of these topics, check out my other videos where I break down specific copywriting strategies and tactics. Until next time, I'm Alex. Ciao for now. Before you go, if you like that video, make sure to check out this one next. If you're still buying into the 1960s madman definition of what copywriting is, witty one-liners, clever slogans, and a cutthroat anything-it-takes approach to sales and marketing, then I'm sorry, but you've got it all wrong, especially today. Thanks to digital marketing, the explosion of social media, AI, and, automated everything, the question to what is copywriting has massively changed in the last few years alone.